I'm getting going on the renovation of my 1960s Massey Ferguson 35X tractor. It hasn't been started in 11 years, and before I try to start it, I'm making sure that I won't be doing any damage when I do. So I've changed the oil, I've cleaned the air filter, and now I'm looking at the fuel. This video is about the primary fuel filter, and here it is. When I started the restoration of the tractor, I decided to try and understand the various components as I went along. And so here's my interpretation of what the primary fuel filter looks like inside. Strangely, the primary fuel filter isn't the first filter that the diesel encounters before it gets to the engine. There's a small gauze filter in the bottom of the tank just above the fuel tap, and a further gauze filter in the lift pump. But this is the primary filter in the sense that it's the most important. The fuel from the fuel tank via the lift pump comes in at the top left of my drawing and surrounds the filter cartridge. After passing through the fuel cartridge, the fuel is taken up through the centre of the cartridge and exits on the right-hand side of the fuel filter. It's really important that the fuel doesn't contain any air bubbles, and so at the top of the primary filter unit there's a screw that you can undo and let air out. This is what the air bleed screw looks like on the head unit of the primary fuel canister. At the bottom of the filter canister there's another screw that allows you to drain any water out. And this is what that bleed screw looks like. So in fact the primary fuel filter serves three purposes. Firstly, the filter itself collects dirt and any small particles from the fuel. Secondly, the bleed screw at the top of the filter unit allows you to bleed out air. Thirdly, the bleed screw at the bottom of the unit allows you to bleed out any accumulated water. Before I start the tractor, I need to ensure that there's a clean fuel supply, and so I've taken the primary fuel filter to bits and given it a thorough clean before replacing the paper fuel cartridge and the various seals. There are lots of YouTube videos which show how to do this, and so I've not recreated it here. But a lot more work will need to be done on the other elements of the fuel supply system, including the fuel tank itself, before I'm finished. I actually encountered a problem when I was changing the fuel filter in that I couldn't turn off fully the tap from the fuel tank, and so I shall probably be looking at the fuel tap next.